Shalom. Call Elohim La YAHAWASHI, YAHWASHI, BaHa, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect. And I noticed something based on observation. And it's something that I've been, noticing, for quite some time. That these Christians that's warring with the Hebrew Israelites, that's coming against the Hebrews, the one Westers, the different, camps under the banner of one West. You teach that the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American are the Israelites. And you teach to keep the laws, return back to Heavenly Father, believe on the Messiah. These same Christians that come against them, they have nothing to say about the small hat, the so-called Jew, the 1948er. They have no smoke for them whatsoever. Now, years ago, we brought this topic out, and brothers went into it. I actually I pulled up a site that's actually a website dedicated to exposing the inner dark teachings and doctrines of the small hat. And on one of the pages, it's a compiled list of passages from the Talmud, which we know that the modern so-called small hat, which we know that they're clearly Esau. All right, they're not Israelites. Now there might be a few Jakes among them, but we know for the most part, those Idumeans are particularly Amalekites. Now, I went into it years ago and brought out, all these satanic dark teachings from out of the Talmud, and we addressed these Christians and been, asking, why haven't they mentioned or made any videos discussing what you can find in that Talmud? Why being very partial? If you have all this smoke for the Hebrew Israelites and how, we're wrong, we're not interpreting the scriptures correctly, we have poor scholarship, we're teaching lies, we're wicked. Well, do you have this same argument for the small hats? Now, when you do a search in their YouTube, just type in Talmud. This channel has no content that matched Talmud. So as you can clearly see, they have zero content on that matter. Okay? But this is a Christian group. These Christians, they constantly defend and protect the small hats. And they actually support them. They support that they're the actual chosen people of the Most High. They believe that that's the seed of the righteous, despite all this wickedness that they're behind, that they're involved with. All the power that they have in the world. Now, Vocab, any of you dudes out there, I want y'all to, help me make this make sense. If you support that these are the people, I'm talking about the 1948ers, the small hats, if you support these people and you believe that they are the said people that they identify as, you agree that these people are in position of power. I mean, we don't have to play games with that. We know that these people are in position of power. So Where in the Bible does it says that the Lord's going to come back and deliver his people when they're in their power? Where's that in the Bible? Anywhere in the Bible? Because we know that the Lord's coming back to deliver the captives, the lowly, the meek. But these people are on high. They're in power. They have all that a heart could wish. You can't even speak against him. I forget who says it. I don't know if it was George Orwell. Somebody said it, but he said, if you want to find out who's in power, uh, if you want to find out who's in power, find out who you can't speak against. They have a term which you call anti-Semitism. Another handcrafted construct, all right, by these said people. And it has a lot of power. So anytime you criticize their agendas, they get to throw out that term. They get to use that anti-Sim card. So where in the Bible does it says that the Lord's chosen people will be in power when he returns to deliver them? Why would they need any salvation when they're in power? Anyway, y'all can rest on that. That's to vocab, that's to anybody that's within that Reformed theology branch. All right, you Protestants. So anyway, so as y'all can see, I just typed in the Talmud in a search, and nothing came up. So clearly, they don't talk about that. All right, and the question is why? Why do you refuse to go into that? I understand. You want to be protected and secure up under your oppressor, because this is a band of wicked jakes that are trained up under that Edomite scholarly branch of theology. All right, they learned up under Esau his so-called education concerning the Bible, and now they're on attack mode against their own people that are rising up, that are waking back up. Men and women that are being awoken through the breath, this knowledge, this wisdom being preached. But like the scriptures say, let me get it real quick, because no matter what you do, you're not going to win. 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. And it says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. And we're going to continue to expose the truth. We're going to continue to declare it out in the open boldly. And we don't care who get offended. We don't care, man. All right. Scriptures tell you that the righteous are bold as lions. So we know we're going to make a lot of enemies for being bold and speaking the truth. And this is why we, this right here, this guy right here, he was always an adversary, even back when he was Haman. All right. I'm gonna always call this dude Haman, because that dude went hard to come against the Israelites. Okay. Now you do the same thing on his page. It's a reason why he definitely doesn't touch on it, because he's possibly one of them. He won't even dare to touch on such. All right. As you can see, 2 videos pop up, but you know that this is neither one, based on the title, is not dealing with this subject. All right. He hasn't made a live video going into his opinion on it, like how he goes into these old books. All right, he goes into these old videos and discuss about One West and their history and their doctrines. Why don't you go into the doctrine of the Talmud that most of the small hats subscribe to? They even exalt that even over the Torah. Is basically It consists of interpretations of the Torah from this, the what they call the rabbi Sadducees. All right, and we know the scriptures tell us when you go to Psalms 50, because this is what the wicked will do. You know, they'll basically twist the Most High's words and place their own interpretation for their own benefit. Psalms 50 and 16, it says, "But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee." You know, they can't learn righteousness. It's not in their nature to be right. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, a leopard his spots? They can't be right. Their soul that is lifted up is not upright. Let me get that in Isaiah 26. Because the Lord showed them favor by allowing them to take possession of his land and claim our identity, and they've usurped power from that moment on. But what did they do? What are they continuously doing? Who's behind this whole agenda right now on the earth where they're trying to merge man with machine? They're trying to bring forth transhumanism. They're trying to integrate humanity with technology. Trying to recreate and redesign, natural food and medicine. Who's doing that, man? Who's bringing population control, saying that it's the earth is too crowded? Who's finna conduct this MOTB infrastructure? Who's behind that? So this is Isaiah 26 and 10. It says, because when you go into it, when you list all the culprits that's behind this whole agenda, you'll see that most of them, yeah, they go back to these said people that I'm talking about, which is why the Lord said that he would have war with them from generation to generation forever, man. They're the first of the nations pursuant to Numbers, the 24th chapter. All right, and the Lord's gonna do what he's gonna do to them, but he's exposing them first. That's why the whole world can't stand them, except you damn Christians. Now there's certain Christians that don't like them, you know. But a lot of you Christians, especially Jakes, I ain't never seen no Christian Jakes, go at these people and expose them because the information is out there. We've been bringing up the information for years. All right, so ain't no excuse, man. This is Isaiah 26 and 10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. But in the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Yeah, they over there in the Holy Land, but they desecrated. They turned it unholy. It's an unholy place right now. But it used to be a holy city. But it's because the wicked occupies that land now. Now you can, kosher pig. You can have new beaches. You have the biggest, alphabet parade that they throw every year in June. Very liberal. They're not keeping the Torah, man. So, I went to both of these channels, Jude 3 project, the same Jude 3 project that's coming out with a documentary on how Christianity is basically disintegrating back into back to the pits of hell, and basically call themselves trying to say that the Hebrew Israelites are involved, which, hey, we are, man. The Lord is using us because we're tearing down the strongholds that our people have been under for so long. All right. They've been in gross darkness. They've been lied to, deceived. And now because this truth is being proclaimed, and a lot of Jacob's starting to listen, now they're leaving. They're waking up and they're getting the hell away. Christianity is a straight joke. But this is part of your hypocrisy, another reason why you're a joke. Why aren't you speaking on these things, man? Because if you support them in the land right now, you say that those are the said people. Well, why don't you call this out? And Vocab, we know he ain't gonna do it. He's set up by these people. He's one of them. So anyway, now when you go into this site right here, I'll leave a link to it in the description box. Now this Edomite woman here, she's exposed this for a while, and she's had several sites attacked and took down by those devils because she's been leaving traces, of their wickedness, exposing them of all these different wicked demonic teachings. All right, that they all uphold, and you wonder why they're a dominant class, because they look down upon the rest of the world, man. They look down on you, man. You're not even considered human to them. That's why they're able to believe that they can get away with everything that they do. They can sweep everything under the rug and do all this wickedness, but the moment you even point a finger at them, and the anti-SIM card, now the world got to stop because we're being attacked, we're being hated, and now we need everybody to protect us, and give us money. But look at this, man. I went into this years ago. It's still out there. There was other sites that had this, but they took them down. But this one still happens to be up. All right, and I went to a few of them because I got a few of them up. All right, one in particular, this one right here, where it says, according to their Talmud, this is what they justify. It says it's okay to cheat non-Jews. In the book of Sanhedrin 57a, a Jew need not pay a Gentile Cuthian the wages owed him for work. All right, and you can actually, because she posts, not only what it says, but the actual book and chapter where you can find it, so you can verify it. Well, you go over to this site right here, the safaria.org, you can actually find and verify these passages. All right, this is Sanhedrin 57a 21 and 22. It says the Gemara challenges if the mentions of actions similar to robbery is referring to the robbery of less than the value of one peruta. What is the novel element in the case of a Gentile who robs a Gentile? Since they are not apt to grant forgiveness, robbing a Gentile of even a minuscule amount is considered full-fledged robbery and not merely similar to robbery. Rather, Rab Aha, son of Rab Ika, says that there is a different explanation. So they're giving their interpretation of the law. They're basically, they set their own traditions. Like you had our wicked people back then. All right, when YAHAWASHI and then was on the scene, you had the wicked, Pharisees, Sadducees, where they was basically taking the law and making void the law through their own traditions. And the Lord called them out on their hypocrisies, man. And we know we're not supposed to add to the word or take away from it. We're not supposed to diminish from it. You do that, you're a liar. And these devils they're natural liars, man. So there's nothing for them to do. So he says, let me scroll down. He says it is necessary only to teach the halakha of one who withholds the wages of a hired laborer, for a Gentile to do so to another Gentile, and for a Gentile to do so to a Jew is prohibited. But for a Jew to do so to a Gentile is permitted. So basically, you can hold back the wages of a hired employee, or should I say slave, if you're a small hat and you have a business or a company and you hire Gentile, non small hats to work for you, according to this passage here in the Sanhedrin 57a 20, 21, 22, you can actually hold back their wages. You could basically you could defraud them. Now, what did the Bible say about holding back the bread of a laborer? Let's go to the Apocrypha real quick. That's straight up oppression. Now you see why Jake be constantly complaining, like especially in the music industry. Jake always complain about how, they're being pimped on their label. The label it gets the bigger cut. They get most of the percentage. They get the publishing, the masters. Jake never owned shit. Despite all the hard work and labor you put into, building a company up with, making all those records and selling, you're making the money for the exec, the label. And who's in control of most of these labels and own them? Yeah, you guessed it right. All right. Well, what was Ice Cube talking about? What was No Vaseline about? Right. So let's go to Sirach, 34th chapter. These people are wicked, man. And they do this across the board, not just even in the music industry. They do it all over, man. Sirach 34. Yeah, Sirach 34 and 21, it says, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. And he's a bloody man. All right. And they're very greedy, they're very covetous, they're very insatiable when it comes to wealth and power. They'll do anything by any means, man. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder. Okay? So we ain't gonna be wicked like that in our kingdom, man. We gonna govern the world based on the law, statutes, and judgments that was given to us. All right? The world's gonna come to that conclusion that we are the Lord's chosen people, man, because everything is gonna be fair, everything's gonna be righteous. There's gonna be a new heaven and a new earth. Look at the world under this current setup. That's how you know they're not the Lord's people. But you Christians sure do a good job, trying to shield these people, man. Well, hey, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Okay, he that condemned the just and justify the wicked, even they both are an abomination. So you Christians, man, it's we could go on for days to expose all the hypocrisy. All right. So that's it on that. That was in this particular chapter, and I'm sure there's even other books I can go into, because the Bible is against that, man. That if a man works for you, give him his hire, man. And yeah, according to the law, the Israelites, we will possess these other nations, but we still going to be fair with them, man. Okay. Now because the scriptures say we're not supposed to rule over our own brothers with rigor, but the other nations, you do what you wish, but there's still parameters within that. Yeah, we can lend. When we come into power, we will lend to you, and we can use usury against you. But when you work, you're gonna have to, according to the law, you can get compensated for that, but you're gonna have to, you know, do your work. The scriptures talk about how you nations are going to be under continual employment, so you're going to work. Now, for the first 1,000 years, you're going to build everything back up, because we built everything in this world off of our backs. All right, you have all this wealth, and everything that you have is because of our slave labor, and we did it basically damn near for free. Especially here in America, we did it for free, and that's why Jake is talking about reparations to this day. Never been compensated for all that labor, and it tells you that even in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, that the righteous shall stand in great boldness in the face of such as has afflicted him, and they never made no account of his labors. We they never made an account because we're not reckoned among the nations. We're cut out from the world, man. You got the Psalms 83 conspiracy of these heathen nations. Esau's the number one. Cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more remembrance. And we got to cast them down from their excellency. Make sure that they never, reach, up into the upper echelon of society. We'll give you a few tokens to give you the illusion that you can make it there, but for the most part, no, we're not going to allow you to have that. So these nations, they conspire together, man, and they're up above. We're at the bottom. We're very low, but that's getting ready to be soon switched. So, I had to bring that out, and then of course there was another one. It's the one in Sanhedrin 58. See, yeah. So under Sanhedrin 58b, and it says it right here, Jews are divine if a heathen, a Gentile, non-Israelite, which they believe that we're not Israelites. They're saying we're not Israelites. The Christians, push and promote that we're the Gentiles and we're not Israelites. Anybody could be an Israelite except us, But according to their Talmud, if a heathen hits a small hat, that Gentile must be killed. Hitting a small hat is the same as hitting God. Right there. And is it verified? Well, this is I pulled it up. Sanhedrin 58b 18, it says, Rabbi Hanina says a Gentile who struck a small hat is liable to receive the death penalty, as it is stated when Moses saw an Egyptian striking a Hebrew, and he turned this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he struck the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. So what seriously? That's a different occasion. That's a different scenario. So what does this have to do with an actual Gentile striking a small hat? Because Moses saw the oppression of a fellow Hebrew getting oppressed and struck by an Egyptian, where he killed the Egyptian, and then he had to run away. But how does this justify you? So now they done made that into a law. That's law now. You see how they operate? And it says, that same rabbi says, one who slaps the cheek of a Jew, a small hat, is considered as though he slapped the cheek of the divine presence. And, and they're far from that. They are far from that, man. These are a godless people. Let's get that in what's that? Hebrews. There's nothing divine about you, man. You know what? You know what? You are divine. You are a divine devil. All right. Hebrews 12 and 16, it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau. And this is how he's described. He's described as a natural fornicator, somebody that has no morals sexually. All right, it is an idolater as well, and a profane person, somebody that's ungodly. An ungodly person cannot be divine and holy. All right, but hey, you know what? No, you could be divine on the left hand side. You're a divine demon, a devil. You're divine on the left hand side, man. Satan is your father. So you have power on the left hand side through the spiritual demon Satan. It says even he who's coming is after the working, the energy, the power of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. So you are divine, all right. Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For you know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. The Lord rejected him because he wasn't chosen, and he was the devil. He was unfavored of the two. Okay, the Lord never liked Esau, and now you're seeing their works on the earth today, because the Lord was still fair. He through Isaac he blessed him and gave him the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth. So that's why he has all his power and all his wealth right now. And he's trying to, any scraps of anything left over that the other nations are sitting on or have, he want to take that too, which is why there's constant war in the earth. And these Christians they don't talk about none of that, man. All right, and here's one more. And it's from the Bava comma 113a22. All right, so in this one right here, you can actually according to this law, you can actually lie. You can lie in the courts in reference to a heathen. All right. It tells you she put it at, yeah, right here. All right, the small hats may lie to non-small hats. All right. They may use lies, subterfuges to circumvent an heathen. And they do this all day, every day. They do it with their media. We know that the mainstream media is controlled by them, it's funded by them. They're just giving you their narrative. Okay. So they lie to you and that shows you how they think about you. That you're nothing to them, that they can just lie to you all day, every day. They can craft your reality. All right. Well, the proof is in in all the lies that they conduct, that they put right in front of you. You hearing it every day, and then when you go to school, you're reading it every day, and you're getting programmed with it. Straight up lies, man. They are forgers of lies, positions of no value. Yeah, that whole pandemic style, them getting you to get that stuff injected into you. It was all one big freaking lie, man. And you people that fell for that shit, I'm sorry, but you know, you definitely failed the IQ test. It shows you how low that they think of you. The common people that's outside of and they even did it to their own. I'm not gonna, exclude, some of the ones, that are of these people, but they're, kind of outcasted, so to speak. Because I'm not gonna group all of them together. There's some of them that are outcasted because they, choose to stand against these devils. You know, the Zionists and the higher ups amongst their own. But hey, that shows that they're divided. But you know, this devil lied to his own. Had a lot of his own dying, you know, putting that stuff into him. Had them taking, you know, 3 and 4 jump shots, you know, and they were still so-called catching it. Well, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he do good? This devil can never do good. So he's proven that he's the devil because the devil is a liar. John 8:44, when Yahushua was cussing out the wicked scribes and Pharisees, he said that you are your father the devil. And what did he say about the devil? John 8:44, you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speak of a lie, he speak of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So he's a natural born liar, man. It tells you that about the wicked. Pursuant to Psalms 58, the wicked, you know, when they're born estranged. Let me go to it. Psalms 58:3 says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. Anybody that do business with them or trust them, who shall pity you? All right. Never trust thine enemy. This is him. All right. So you read this. It's from Rabbi Ashi. The Mishnah issues its ruling with regard to a Gentile customs collector, whom one may deceive, as it is taught in the Baratia or Barata, in the case of a small hat and a Gentile who approach the court for judgment in a legal dispute. If you can vindicate the small hat under Jewish law, vindicate him and say to the Gentile, this is our law. If he can be vindicated under Gentile law, vindicate him and say to the Gentile, this is your law. And if it is not possible to vindicate him under either system of law, hold up. It says, let me see, let me scroll down. It says, if it is not possible to vindicate him under either system of law, one approaches the case cautiously. It's like you're not cautious, circuitously, seeking a justification to vindicate the small hat. So basically, you can circumvent a heathen so that a small hat can be vindicated. And that's why they're never really persecuted like that, despite a lot of the shit that they do. See, this is the statement of Rabbi Yashmael. It says, there we go. I have to get that out the way. It says, Rabbi Akiva disagrees and says one does not approach the case circuitously in order to vindicate the small hat due to the sanctification of God's name, as God's name will be desecrated if the small hat judge employs dishonest means. So he disagrees. You see, but this is what's in their book, man. And none of you ain't never came out and had a discussion about it. So you're being exposed, and you know, knowing this, you're gonna be judged right alongside with this devil, man. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, but the righteous gonna be delivered. The Lord's gonna vindicate his men. All of you that came up against us, like it says in Isaiah 57, All right. No, it's like Isaiah was at 54 and 17. Uh, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper, man. Isaiah 54 and 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So those men are going to be justified. They're going to be vindicated. Who shall lay charge to his elect? Okay. And plus, because we're covered by the blood of YAHAWASHI, man. A lot of them small hats, not all of them, but the majority of them, they reject the New Testament. So they reject, YAHAWASHI. So YAHAWASHI gonna come back and he gonna give them all the smoke. And you wicked ass Israelites that siding with these devils, all right, the Lord gonna give you the smoke too. So anyway, that was just on my spirit, and I want to go into that, man. And Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Shalom. And hey, and if the spirit be, if the spirit allows, maybe we can go into more of these, man, and just verify these, because that it's never talked about. Maybe some of the Edomite Christian scholars out there that know the truth, maybe they go into it, but they probably try to limit going into it because they're in fear of getting their platforms demonetized or stripped, taken down. 'Cause we know, especially YouTube, the CEO of YouTube, that demon, she's one of them as well. So she's not going to allow any information that goes against them to be used on her platform. So you got to speak in code, and just like how they do us, they circumvent and speak in code and lie to us daily. You kind of got to do that against them and psych out the algorithm just to be on the safe side so that they don't try to terminate you. So anyway, like I said, Lord willing, was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom.